In astronomy, there are moments when an object abruptly refuses to follow the rules the universe dictates it should. Moments when contradictions cause the numbers to crumble. When simulation after simulation breaks down, and when an entire community of scientists quietly starts to worry that what they're studying isn't merely unusual, it's fundamentally flawed. Right now, that moment is unfolding with 3I Atlas. In recent weeks, signs so contradictory, so physically and so aggressively opposed to standard comet behavior have started emerging from this interstellar visitor that researchers find themselves backed into a corner. The comet is either fragmenting into dozens of pieces, or what we're observing reveals a flaw in our understanding, so profound it makes even seasoned experts uneasy. Then the most recent images came through, and the situation grew even more peculiar. The one explanation that seemed logical, that fragmentation must be occurring with 3I Atlas, has now been disproven. It's not breaking apart. No debris is scattering. No collapse from mass loss is happening. It remains perfectly whole, intact, solid, unified. And this revelation has unlocked a door nobody was ready to step through. With 3 Atlas, something is gravely wrong. And tonight, layer by layer, piece by piece, we're diving into this mystery until the complete scale of what's occurring becomes undeniable. We need to begin with the event that initially triggered alarm bells to grasp just how strange 3 Atlas has grown. Images captured on November 9th by astronomers revealed a massive tail, actually two massive tails extending millions of kilometers through space. Away from the sun, one pointed normally as anticipated, almost directly toward the sun. The other pointed, creating an exceptionally rare feature called an but the direction wasn't the real issue. The scale was, to generate tails of that length, a comet must expel gas from its surface at tremendous speeds. But approximately 1,500 kilometers per hour is the speed at which 3 Atlas releases gas sluggish by cosmic measures. At such a speed, tails millions of kilometers long require weeks or even months of continuous outgassing to produce. Yet images from just days before showed nothing whatsoever. No faint tail, no jets, not even a haze of dust. From complete silence to explosive activity, the comet transitioned in a time frame that physically defies possibility. Like watching a bonfire erupt from a match in a rainstorm's midst without witnessing the spark. It was bizarre, and the explanation grew even more concerning when scientists crunched the numbers. To maintain tails that enormous 3I Atlas would require 1,600 square kilometers of surface area exposed to sunlight. Essentially, a spherical comet 23 kilometers in diameter. But Hubble's measurements put the nucleus at merely 5.6 kilometers across 4 times to the tails we were observing, in other words, demanded a comet vastly larger than what we actually possess. And the model broke completely under that contradiction. From strange to physically impossible. The situation escalated once astronomers determined how much material the tails contained, by using tail size and brightness to estimate dust density. Researchers found that 3 Atlas was ejecting material at an astounding monthly rate of 50 billion tons, but the comet's total supposed weight is only 33 billion tons. Put differently, every month the comet was shedding more than its complete mass. Not just unlikely, that should be fatal. No object can shed more mass than it possesses unless multiple pieces are breaking it apart. Fresh surfaces are being exposed in all directions, and material is rapidly being lost like an iceberg crumbling. And before, we've witnessed this exact behavior. Into 21 fragments, Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 broke in 1992. The mass it shed appeared impossible until we understood it had fractured. Extreme mass loss gets explained by fragmentation. Sudden brightening gets explained by fragmentation. Multi-directional jets get explained by fragmentation. Everything indicated 3I Atlas was experiencing the same destiny. Falling apart, it was supposed to be. The math insisted on it. The physics insisted on it. The behavior insisted on it. But then new images brought the truth. And every assumption we held disintegrated. As evidence mounted against 3I Atlas, astronomers grew certain of one conclusion. Fragmenting, this comet must be. It had to be. No intact object could endure losing more material than its total mass. No intact object could generate 7 jets one day and enormous tails the next. And no intact object could withstand its October 29th perihelion nearest approach to the sun without fracturing under thermal pressure. Near the sun, comets frequently break apart. The encounter simply destroys many. Temperatures that should have split it open confronted 3I Atlas, like tiny rockets. The jets bursting from its surface should have torn the nucleus into pieces. It was confirmed by every simulation. After what it had experienced, 3 Atlas could not remain whole. To study the fragments, to examine the debris, to measure breakup patterns, scientists readied themselves. Not a theory, fragmentation was an inevitability, or it appeared to be, on November 11th. The sharpest images yet of 3I Atlas were captured by astronomers David Jewett and Jane Liu. Using a Canary Islands telescope, what they discovered immediately transformed the entire story. A disarmingly straightforward title there. Report carried. 3 Atlas, still single, an intact nucleus, a glowing coma, a 500,000 kilometer wide region surrounding the object. Carefully examined, revealing zero fragmentation evidence. Every technique designed to expose even the tiniest debris piece, and nothing was found. Not a single shard, not one dust trail separating from the nucleus. Not one indication the comet had divided. Despite mathematics demanding it must be fracturing, despite tails requiring it should be disintegrating, despite jets declaring that the only viable explanation was fragmentation, 3I Atlas stayed whole. This was when astronomers understood something was profoundly amiss, because the comet's behavior and the comet's condition simply didn't align. Catastrophic. Its activity was untouched, its structure remained. Like witnessing a volcano erupt ferociously without any harm to the mountain itself. It was a paradox, a contradiction, a warning. Something additional was confirmed by the new images. Not one, but two massive tails were being produced by 3I Atlas. Expected, the normal tail was, but that anti-tail something astronomers seldom observe and almost never with such precision. At the sun, it pointed with merely a 9-degree offset, an almost perfect alignment. Under rare geometric circumstances, anti-tails can form, but the geometry here didn't compute. Not fragmenting was 3I Atlas, so from multiple spreading pieces, the dust wasn't originating. From a single nucleus, the tail seemed to be forming, a stable direction maintained despite the comet's rotation. And what amplified the strangeness is that overnight, anti-tails don't just materialize. Yet this one did. After days of complete inactivity, it emerged at full intensity, contradicting every model, describing dust distribution mechanics. Another indication it was that while chaotic and extreme, the comet's activity was impossibly stable. The object itself appeared. Once more, reality and the data clashed. And the contradiction grew deeper. On October 29th, 3 Atlas reached its closest solar approach. A moment when violent stress is experienced by most comets, when sublimation intensifies, when gases explode outward, when uneven heating and pressure cause the nucleus to fracture. This is the time. Through perihelion intact, many comets simply don't survive. Yet 2 weeks afterward, not weakened but supercharged, was 3I Atlas. Jets, tails, massive outgassing it produced, all while staying perfectly whole. The thermal pressure that should have destroyed it didn't even fracture the surface. The explosive loss of tens of billions of tons didn't cause erosion. The violent core expulsion didn't warp the nucleus. Like an object immune to the very processes defining comets, it behaved. A disturbing notion scientists were forced to entertain. Maybe like a comet, 3I Atlas isn't behaving because like one, it isn't constructed. Fundamentally different. Something about its structure must be. Something ancient. Something hardened. Something never before seen by the solar system. Rooted in 3I Atlas's origin story. The next theory to gain momentum was one. By billions of years, this object likely predates the solar system, possibly 7 to 10 billion years in age. During that period, through cosmic radiation fields, it would have drifted. High-energy particles absorbed that gradually transformed its chemistry. Its outer shell might have been hardened by cosmic rays, forming a crust unlike anything in our comet records. Evidence for this exists. 8 times more carbon dioxide than normal was detected by James Webb, suggesting over billions of years, cosmic rays may have transformed carbon monoxide into CO2, into a dense, rigid shell. That same radiation could have converted its surface, while with ancient volatile ice, the interior remained filled. If except for hidden vents or deep channels, the crust is sealed, in violent bursts, sublimation might happen. Jets far more powerful than its size would predict producing, without necessarily fragmenting the nucleus. This would generate massive tails and extreme activity. In other words, because it has a structure the solar system has never witnessed. 3I Atlas may be behaving this way, but only part of the story does even this theory explain. Not all. And the contradictions continued accumulating. If not, fragmenting is 3I Atlas, and if only some of its behavior gets explained by the exotic crust theory. Then with one final unsettling possibility, astronomers are left. Perhaps wrong are our calculations. Perhaps not as massive as they appear are the tails. Perhaps how much material is truly leaving the comet gets exaggerated by the brightness. Perhaps only 5 billion tons monthly instead of 50 billion the comet is losing. Still extreme, that would be, but survivable. The issue is that for decades this mass loss calculation method has functioned. For every comet we've studied, it worked. If here the method fails, then not the method is the problem. It's the comet. Something about 3 Atlas, its chemistry, its crust, its internal pressure, its age, or something we haven't yet identified. Beyond the boundaries of known comet behavior is pushing it. And when every physics rule gets violated by an object and it still remains whole, active, and accelerating, that we're missing something fundamental. The universe is telling us something major. Something concealed behind this impossible visitor's strange glow. Something gravely wrong. And merely the beginning. This is when everything 3I Atlas has done, we step back and examine everything we've measured, everything we've calculated, Everything we've witnessed pretending this is just another interstellar comet drifting quietly through the solar system becomes impossible. The way it should, nothing about this object behaves. Not its brightness, not its mass loss, not its tails, not its jets, not its survival, not its structure, not its refusal to fragment despite every physics law screaming that weeks ago it should have shattered. Not a comet's story is what we're watching. Contradiction itself's story. It is an object that, through every model we use to comprehend the cold visitors crossing our cosmic boundaries, is physically tearing. Because here's the truth, most astronomers won't vocalize. A paradox is 3I Atlas, a contradiction wrapped in ice and dust, a mathematical anomaly drifting through space. More material than it contains. It is losing, yet whole it remains. Tails so massive they demand 4 times its measured surface area. It produces, yet smaller than any comet capable of creating them. The nucleus is like a dying star. It fires jets in 7 directions. Yet no cracks, no fractures, no fragments the nucleus displays. Through its orbit's most violent section, it passes without structural integrity being lost. Like something fragile and explosive it behaves, while like something rigid and ancient it appears. Almost as if one set of rules on the outside and a completely different set of rules on the inside the object is obeying. And that's the part nobody wants to address. Because if natural is 3I Atlas, then a new category of interstellar object we're witnessing. One over billions of years shaped by cosmic rays hardened into a form no comet from our solar system has ever assumed sculpted. But if not, natural is 3I Atlas if the violent jets, the impossible mass loss, the sudden enormous tail appearance, the perfect structural survival, the rare anti-tail alignment, and the nucleus's flawless integrity are symptoms not of chaos, but of design then, not just old. This object is, by time, by age, by conditions we've never encountered, or by processes we've never conceived. It is engineered. Either way, identical is the conclusion. Seriously, wrong something is with 3I Atlas, because something about it here does not belong. Perhaps a kind of interstellar chemistry our models cannot yet describe it's revealing to us. Perhaps what comets resemble in civilizations older than our sun, it's showing. Or perhaps, just perhaps, at something constructed to survive what no natural object ever could. We are looking. What now matters is this. To confront our understanding's limits, 3 Atlas has compelled us. A behavior no comet should possess. It has demonstrated conditions no comet should survive. It has endured. And behind it, a trail of physical impossibilities so extensive that the only truthful response is to acknowledge that beyond us, something about this visitor is. If what we thought we understood about interstellar objects this video made you reconsider, don't depart silently. Subscribe, because everything we think we know about the universe, the next update could transform. Give this video a like so the truth hidden within these impossible numbers more people can witness. And below comment what you believe is truly occurring with 3I Atlas. Is it merely an ancient comet in ways we've never observed behaving, or is it something completely different?